Stop what you're doing, because what I'm about to tell you will either transform your life forever or you'll ignore it and stay exactly where you are for the next 10 years. 3 days ago, I witnessed a guy explain himself for 20 minutes to someone who clearly didn't respect him, seeking understanding from someone who didn't deserve his time. These men are everywhere. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you recognize yourself in these stories. Maybe you're tired of being overlooked, underestimated, and treated like you don't matter. You're not lacking confidence because you were born that way. You're lacking confidence because you were programmed that way, trained that way, conditioned to be predictable, controllable, manageable. But 5 centuries ago, one man figured out the real principles, not the pretty rules. They preach in society the actual principles that govern power, strength, and success. His name was Machiavelli, and he wrote the handbook for becoming unstoppable. I'm talking about becoming the type of man who walks into a room and everyone notices. The type who speaks once and everyone listens. The type who sets a boundary and everyone respects it always. I'm talking about becoming someone who cannot be intimidated, manipulated, or stopped. Someone who commands respect naturally. Someone who plays by different rules because he's operating on a different level. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 8 principles that will transform you from someone who gets overlooked to someone who gets noticed. From someone who begs for respect to someone who commands it. From someone who hopes for the best to someone who prepares for excellence. But here's my warning. Once you see these truths, you can't unsee them. Once you understand how influence really works, you can't go back to being naive. Once you become unstoppable, there's no returning to stoppable. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I refuse to be held back. I refuse to be stopped. Are you ready to become unstoppable? Number 1, transform your inner self. Right now, there are 2 people living inside you. One is uncertain, apologetic, and desperate for approval. The other is confident, self-assured, and commands respect. Every day you feed one and starve the other. Every choice you make strengthens one and weakens the other. Today we're going to starve the uncertain one and feed the confident one. Your uncertain self is everything you were taught to be. It's the voice that says be nice when someone disrespects you. It's what makes you say sorry when you did nothing wrong. It's the part that explains yourself to people who should be explaining themselves to you. This uncertain programming started early. Your parents wanted you to be good. Your teachers wanted you to be obedient. Society wanted you to be manageable. But manageable men don't build empires. Manageable men get overlooked and forgotten. Your uncertain self has been making decisions for you your entire life. It's why you tolerate disrespect. It's why you give people unlimited chances. It's why you put everyone else's needs before your own. It's why you're watching this video instead of living the life you want. But here's what your uncertain self doesn't want you to know. Every time you choose to be nice to someone who doesn't deserve it, you're choosing to be unkind to yourself. Every time you let someone cross your boundaries, you're teaching them that your boundaries don't matter. Machiavelli once said, "He who is not master of himself will always be a servant of others." Your uncertain self speaks a different language than your confident self. Learn to recognize the difference. Uncertain self says, "I don't want to hurt their feelings." Confident self says, "I don't want to compromise my standards." Uncertain self says, "Maybe I misunderstood." Confident self says, "I understood perfectly and I don't appreciate what I understood." Uncertain self says, "I should give them another chance." Confident self says, "They already used their chance." The transformation of your inner self isn't violent. It's strategic. Every time someone tests your boundaries, your uncertain self wants to explain why the boundary exists. Your confident self enforces the boundary without explanation. Every time someone disrespects you, your uncertain self wants to understand why. Your confident self simply responds with appropriate consequences. Every time someone wastes your time, your uncertain self makes excuses for them. Your confident self protects your time like it's gold. Start paying attention to which voice is making your decisions. When you're about to apologize for something that wasn't your fault, that's your uncertain self talking. When you're about to explain yourself to someone who owes you an apology, that's your uncertain self seeking approval. Transform it not with hatred but with choice. Choose strength over approval. Choose respect over being liked. Choose being influential over being popular. Your uncertain self will resist you. It will remind you of all the people who might not like the new you. It will show you all the times you tried to be strong and struggled. It will try to convince you that being influential makes you a bad person. Let it resist. Let it complain. Let it transform. Because on the other side of your uncertain self's transformation is a man who doesn't apologize for taking up space. A man who doesn't explain himself to people who don't matter. A man who doesn't beg for respect because he commands it naturally. Transform the uncertain self. Feed the confident self. Choose influence. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My uncertain self is transforming. My confident self is rising. Number 2, build the fortress mind. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your biggest obstacle. Right now, it's probably chaos in there. Every criticism cuts deep. Every setback feels personal. Every challenge triggers an emotional reaction. This mental chaos is what's keeping you stuck. Today, we're building a fortress that nothing can penetrate. A fortress mind doesn't react emotionally to external events. It processes them strategically. When someone criticizes you, your fortress mind doesn't get hurt. It gets information about that person's character. When someone disappoints you, your fortress mind doesn't get surprised. It gets confirmation of what it already suspected. Most men live at the mercy of their emotions. They get angry and make impulsive decisions. They get hurt and make weak decisions. They get scared and make no decisions at all. Their emotions are wild horses dragging them wherever feelings want to go. Your fortress mind is different. Emotions become data points. Anger tells you someone crossed a line. Pain tells you someone revealed their true nature. Fear tells you you're about to grow stronger. Stop taking everything personally. When someone treats you poorly, they're not revealing something about you. They're revealing something about themselves. When someone tries to manipulate you, they're not showing your weakness, they're showing their desperation. Machiavelli once said, "A wise man acts in the present, shaping the future." Your fortress mind operates on strategic logic. It expects challenges from people, not because you're negative, but because you're prepared. When you expect obstacles, disappointment becomes manageable. When you expect setbacks, success becomes a pleasant surprise. Train your mind to see patterns instead of isolated incidents. That person who misled you once, they're unreliable. That friend who speaks negatively about others to you, they likely speak negatively about you to others. That person who disrespected you when they thought they could get away with it, they'll do it again if you allow them. Your fortress mind processes everything as learning opportunities. Every conversation teaches you about human nature. Every interaction reveals someone's true priorities. Every conflict shows you who's really supportive. Practice emotional intelligence. When something makes you angry, pause. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? When something hurts, analyze it. What pattern am I seeing? When something concerns you, examine it. What am I really worried about? The fortress mind doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means you become emotion-proof. You still feel things, but feelings don't control your decisions anymore. Logic controls your choices. Strategy controls your actions. Influence controls your life. Most men have fragile minds that crack at the first sign of pressure. You're building something that can withstand any storm. Build your fortress. Make it unshakable because once it's complete, nothing external can disturb the real you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind is a fortress. My thoughts are tools. Number 3, master the art of silence. The loudest man in the room is usually the most insecure. He talks because he's nervous. He explains because he's uncertain. He argues because he's desperate for validation. You're going to be the opposite. You're going to understand that silence is the ultimate display of confidence. When you stop explaining yourself, magic happens. People start respecting you more. They stop questioning your decisions. They stop testing your boundaries. They start treating you like someone who knows something they don't because you do know something they don't. You know that your worth doesn't depend on their understanding. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. You don't need to justify your standards. You don't have to defend your boundaries. The moment you start explaining yourself to someone who challenges you, you're giving them authority over you. Think about the most influential people you know. Do they explain themselves constantly? Do they justify every decision? Do they argue with everyone who questions them? Of course not. They make decisions and move forward. They set boundaries and maintain them. They speak when they have something important to say. Machiavelli once said, "The lion does not need to roar to be respected." Silence makes you intriguing. When people can't read you easily, they start respecting your depth. They imagine you're more strategic than you are. They assume you're planning something significant. They give you influence you never claimed. But here's the crucial part. When you do speak, your words must carry powerful impact. Because you've been selective with words, people pay attention. Because you don't waste words, every word carries weight. Because you don't overexplain, when you finally speak, everyone listens carefully. Practice strategic silence starting today. When someone accuses you of something unreasonable, don't defend yourself. Just observe them calmly. When someone demands answers you don't want to give, don't explain. Just say no. When someone tries to create drama, don't engage. Just remove yourself. Watch what happens. The person who's used to getting reactions from you suddenly doesn't know how to handle you. They escalate, trying to get the emotional response they're used to. When they don't get it, they either back down or reveal their true character. Either way, you win. Your silence also protects you from saying something you'll regret later. How many men have sabotaged themselves with words they wish they could take back? How many arguments could have been avoided with strategic quiet? How many relationships could have been preserved by refusing to take the bait? The silent man never has this problem. He speaks when speaking serves his purpose. He stays quiet when quiet protects his position. He never gives his challengers ammunition to use against him. Let other men fill the air with noise. You'll fill the room with presence. Let them waste energy on words. You'll save your energy for action. Silent men are influential men. Not because they're intimidating, but because they're unpredictable. You never know what they're thinking. You never know what they are capable of. You never know when they'll make their move. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them respect what they can't easily understand. Your silence is your superpower. Use it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks louder than their noise. Number 4, turn setbacks into strength. Here's a truth that will save you years of frustration. People will disappoint you. Your best friend will choose their interests over your friendship. Your business partner will choose money over loyalty. People you trust will let you down when the stakes are high. This isn't pessimism. This is realism. And once you accept this reality, disappointment becomes manageable because you expected it all along. Most men get destroyed by disappointment because they believed in idealistic expectations. They thought people were better than they are. They trusted blindly instead of observing carefully. They confused niceness with character. When disappointment hits them, they fall apart. They can't understand how someone could do this to them. They waste months trying to figure out why. They replay conversations looking for signs they missed. You're going to be different. You're going to expect challenges and use them as fuel for your growth. Disappointment is information. It's showing you who people really are when pressure increases. It's revealing character that was hidden under masks and pleasant words. It's teaching you lessons about human nature that you couldn't learn any other way. Every disappointment contains a gift. The gift of seeing clearly. Before the disappointment, you might have been confused about someone's character. After the disappointment, you know exactly who they are. Machiavelli once said, "Men are unpredictable, changeable, and self-serving." The man who truly understands this is never caught off guard. He builds his plans assuming people will act in their own interest. He creates backup plans for when allies become distant. He never puts all his success in someone else's hands. But here's the secret that transforms disappointment from wound to fuel. Disappointment is proof that you're rising. People don't disappoint people who are beneath them. They disappoint people who are above them. They disappoint people who have something they want. They disappoint people who are becoming successful. Every disappointment is evidence that you're becoming someone worth envying. Wear it like a badge of honor. When disappointment comes, and it will come, respond like a strategist, not like a victim. Don't waste energy on hurt feelings. Channel that energy into strategic thinking. What did this disappointment teach you? How can you use this information? What weakness in your approach did this reveal? Sometimes the best response to disappointment is complete distance. Remove them from your life like a toxic influence. No explanations, no second chances, no dramatic confrontations. Just gone, removed, done with them. Sometimes the best response is strategic patience. Note what they did. File it away. Wait for the perfect moment. Then use their own unreliability against them when timing serves you best. Use disappointment as your education. It will teach you who deserves trust and who deserves caution. It will show you how to protect your vulnerabilities. It will force you to become self-reliant instead of people-dependent. The man who has survived multiple disappointments and grown stronger is more capable than the man who's never been tested. Disappointment is your graduation from naive trust to strategic thinking. Most men let disappointment make them bitter and closed off. You're going to let disappointment make you smarter and more selective. Because when you've been let down by everyone and you're still standing, when you've been left behind and you're still moving, when you've been disappointed by all and you're still rising, that's when you know you've become truly unstoppable. Number 5, silence your critics through excellence. Here's what uncertain men do when people criticize them. They argue. They defend. They explain. They try to prove the critics wrong. They waste precious time and energy trying to change minds that were never going to change anyway. Here's what you're going to do. Excel so completely that criticism becomes irrelevant. Your critics aren't your problem. Your response to criticism is your problem. When you argue with critics, you're giving them equal standing with you. You're saying their opinion matters enough to debate. You're treating them like peers when they're actually not qualified to judge you. Stop dignifying bad faith criticism with good faith responses. Stop treating every random opinion like it deserves consideration. Stop letting people who haven't achieved anything judge someone who's achieving everything. The path to silencing critics isn't winning arguments. It's winning at life. When your results speak louder than their complaints, criticism dies in their throats. When your success makes their words look foolish, they stop saying them. Machiavelli once said, "Let no one think that they can overcome fortune with complaints. But you can overwhelm criticism with undeniable excellence. You can suffocate doubt with consistent results. You can silence gossip with visible success. Focus your energy on building, not defending. Every minute you spend arguing with critics is a minute you're not spending getting stronger. Every hour you waste explaining yourself is an hour you're not investing in your growth. Let your work do the talking. Let your results answer the questions. Let your progress silence the noise. When people see you succeeding consistently, their criticism transforms into something else. Envy. And envy is just respect wearing a disguise. The man who excels in his field doesn't need to argue with people who've never excelled at anything. The man who builds empires doesn't debate with people who've never built anything substantial. The man who commands respect doesn't explain himself to people who've never commanded anything. Your critics will always exist. There will always be people who don't understand your methods, who question your choices, who doubt your abilities. This is not a problem to solve. It's a reality to accept. Use criticism as fuel, not as validation. When someone says you can't do something, let that power your determination to prove them wrong through action, not argument. When someone questions your methods, let your results answer them. When someone doubts your potential, let your achievements speak for you. The goal isn't to convince everyone you're right. The goal is to be so obviously successful that arguing becomes pointless. Silence your critics through excellence. Build something so impressive that criticism looks like jealousy. Achieve something so undeniable that doubt looks like delusion. Stop arguing with people who will never respect you anyway. Start excelling in areas where respect is earned through results. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I silence critics with success, not arguments. Number 6, control your reputation. Every single person you meet forms an opinion about you in the first 7 seconds. That opinion determines how they treat you, how much respect they give you, and how much influence they think you have. Most men leave this to chance. You're going to control it like a strategic tool. Your reputation isn't just how you look. It's the energy you bring into every space. It's the vibe people feel when you're around. It's the stories people tell about you when you're not there. Stop talking so much. Influential men don't fill every silence with chatter. They don't explain every decision. They don't justify every choice. When you speak less, people listen more. When you reveal less, people respect more. Mystery is magnetic. Don't tell people your whole life story in the first conversation. Don't explain your methods to your competition. Don't reveal your plans to people who haven't earned your trust. Keep them curious. Keep them wondering. Your reputation should precede you like a positive force. People should know your standards before they meet you. They should understand your boundaries before they test them. They should respect your capabilities before they experience them. Machiavelli once said, "Men judge more by the eye than the hand." People judge you more by what they see than by what you actually do. Use this reality to your advantage. Control what they see. Your physical presence tells a story. Stand like you own every room you enter. Walk like you're going somewhere important and nothing can stop you. Sit like you're the most capable person present, even if you're the quietest. Your response to pressure reveals your true character. When chaos erupts, be the calm center. When people panic, be the steady force. When others lose control, be the one who maintains it. Consistency builds trust. Be the same person under pressure and under praise. Be the same person when you're winning and when you're struggling. Be the same person in public and in private. Let your actions build your legend. When you need to distance yourself from someone, do it completely and permanently. When you need to stand your ground, don't move an inch. When you need to make a point, make it unforgettable. But also let your competence speak for itself. Be excellent at what you do. Be reliable when people need you. Be the solution when problems arise. Influence without competence is just noise. Control the narrative about who you are. Don't let other people define you based on their limited understanding. Don't let past mistakes become your permanent identity. Don't let other people's opinions become your reality. You decide who you are. You decide what you represent. You decide how people remember you. Your reputation becomes your tool. Your presence becomes your protection. Your character becomes your greatest asset. Build it deliberately. Protect it fiercely. Use it strategically. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my reputation. My presence commands respect. Number 7, make excellence a discipline. Excellence isn't something you use when you feel like it. It's not something you turn on for special occasions. Excellence is a discipline that you practice every single day, whether anyone is watching or not. Most men think excellence is about big moments. The presentation to the boss, the conversation with the disrespectful person, the moment they finally stand up for themselves. But real excellence is built in the invisible moments. How you wake up when you don't want to get out of bed, how you handle small annoyances throughout the day, how you treat people who can't do anything for you, how you respond when nobody is keeping score. These invisible moments are where your character is forged. Your character determines your destiny. Your destiny determines whether you become someone people respect or someone people overlook. Comfort is the enemy of excellence. When you get too comfortable, you get predictable. When you get predictable, you get manageable. When you get manageable, you get overlooked. The man who chooses comfort over growth is choosing stagnation over progress. He's choosing to remain average instead of becoming exceptional. He's choosing to stay where he is instead of going where he could be. Machiavelli once said, "Fortune favors the disciplined." Your daily disciplines become your superpowers. When you do what you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it, you build unshakable self-trust. When you keep promises to yourself, you develop unstoppable confidence. Your personal standards become your foundation. When you know what you stand for, nobody can make you compromise. When you know what you won't tolerate, nobody can push you around. When you know your non-negotiables, nobody can negotiate you down. Build disciplines that forge strength. Wake up early, even when you want to sleep in. Exercise even when you don't feel like it. Do the hard task first, even when you want to procrastinate. Keep your word even when it's inconvenient. These aren't just good habits. These are excellence practices. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building mental strength. Every time you do something you don't want to do, you're proving to yourself that you control your life, not your feelings. Other men will call you extreme. They'll say you're too intense. They'll tell you to relax, to take it easy, to enjoy life. These are the same men who will be asking you for help when their undisciplined lives fall apart. Let them choose easy. You're choosing effective. Let them choose temporary pleasure. You're choosing permanent strength. Let them choose comfort. You're choosing excellence. Make excellence your philosophy. Make strength your daily practice. Make discipline your sacred ritual. Because when life tests you, and it will test you, the disciplined man succeeds while the comfortable man struggles. Number 8, become unstoppable. This is where everything comes together. This is where you transcend ordinary limitations and enter a realm that most men never see. This is where you become truly unbreakable, unbending, and unstoppable. To be unstoppable means that nothing external can disturb your internal peace. People can criticize you, but it doesn't shake your confidence. They can disappoint you, but it doesn't surprise you. They can challenge you, but it doesn't break you. The unstoppable man has achieved something that most people think is impossible. Complete independence from other people's opinions, reactions, and approval. This isn't cold-heartedness. This is strategic emotional intelligence. You still care about people, but you don't need them to validate you. You still love, but you don't need to be loved to feel complete. You still connect, but you don't need connection to survive. Let them call you confident. Let them call you self-assured. Let them call you independent. Accept these labels without defense or explanation. When average people can't understand your strength, they'll try to bring you back down to their level. Don't go. You don't live there anymore. Your influence comes from self-mastery, not external control. Your strength comes from internal discipline, not outside validation. Your victory comes from personal excellence, not public recognition. Machiavelli once said, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." You become unstoppable through radical self-reliance. You don't need anyone's permission to be yourself. You don't need anyone's cooperation to build your life. You don't need anyone's approval to pursue your goals. This doesn't mean you become isolated. It means you become selective. You choose who gets access to your time, energy, and attention. You decide who deserves your investment. You control who influences your decisions. The unstoppable man operates from abundance, not scarcity. He has so many options that he's not desperate for any particular outcome. He has so much internal strength that he's not dependent on external support. He has such strong character that he's not compromised by other people's judgment. When you become unstoppable, people will constantly test you. They'll look for cracks in your foundation. They'll search for buttons they can push. They'll try to find ways to affect you, control you, manipulate you. Let them exhaust themselves trying. They'll find nothing because you've systematically eliminated every weakness. You've transformed your uncertain self. You've built an impenetrable fortress mind. You've mastered the tool of silence. You've transformed setbacks into fuel. You've learned to never show weakness. You've controlled your reputation. You've made excellence a daily discipline. You've become something that transcends normal limitations. You've become unstoppable. Your challengers will exhaust themselves trying to bring you down. Your critics will waste their energy trying to shame you. Your doubters will tire themselves trying to break you. And you'll keep rising because you cannot be held back, broken or stopped. You've become legendary. You started this video as one person. You're finishing it as someone completely different. The transformation you've undergone in these few minutes will ripple through every area of your life. You now understand the 8 pillars of unstoppable influence. You know how to eliminate uncertainty and cultivate confidence. You know how to build mental fortresses that cannot be penetrated. You know how to use silence as a powerful tool. You know how to transform setbacks from wounds to fuel. You know how to never show weakness even when you feel it. You know how to control your reputation like a master strategist. You know how to make excellence a sacred practice. You know how to become completely unstoppable. This isn't just knowledge. This is transformation. You're not the same person who clicked on this video. You've evolved. You've awakened. You've become influential. The world will try to test your new strength immediately. People will push against your new boundaries. Your old programming will try to seduce you back into uncertainty. Stand firm. You've come too far to retreat now. You're no longer the man who gets talked down to. You're the man whose presence commands attention. You're no longer the man who begs for respect. You're the man who expects it. And receives it. You're no longer the man who gets pushed around by circumstances. You're the man who shapes circumstances to serve his vision. The man watching this conclusion is fundamentally different from the man who watched the introduction. You've been empowered. You've been transformed. You've been made unstoppable. Your uncertain self is transformed. Your fortress mind is operational. Your silence is loaded and ready. Your setback fuel tank is full. Your weakness is hidden from challenging eyes. Your reputation is under your complete control. Your excellence discipline is unshakable. Your unstoppable status is achieved. You cannot be held back because your influence transcends words. You cannot be broken because your strength is absolute. You cannot be stopped because your victory was decided the moment you chose transformation over comfort. The world is waiting for you to claim your place in it. Stop asking for permission. Stop hoping for opportunities. Stop waiting for someone to give you what you can take for yourself. You are unbreakable. You are unbending. You are unstoppable. Now go out there and prove it. This is your moment. This is your influence. This is your time. Take everything.